The last few months have created some unusual challenges for couples. Different family routines, fewer opportunities to go and have fun, plus worrying about work and finances means we may have neglected the most intimate relationship of all, the one we share with our partner. When day-to-day life is stressful, we can take out our stress on those closest to us and even take each other for granted. But parenting is much easier when parents look after their relationship as a couple, support each other and work as a team. Today we have parenting and family psychology expert Professor Matt Sanders and couple relationship expert Professor Kim Halford with us to share some great tips for taking care of intimate relationships and supporting your partner.
It's funny how the things that used to attract me to my husband are really getting on my nerves at the moment.
How should I communicate with my partner when they're frustrating me?
We have started being a bit critical with each other now about how to handle the kids, but I hate kids seeing us arguing.
These are parents under stress. When parents feel that they're just not getting on well with each other and they're in conflict, it is time to take notice. Our capacity to parent our children is very much influenced by our overall mental health and well-being. And one of the main factors that contributes to our mental health is how we get on with our relationship partner. Some individual couple time is so crucial to make sure that we're feeling emotionally connected and supported in undertaking the responsibilities of parenting our children. A lot goes into making relationships work, and if we neglect those closest to us, our parenting can definitely be affected. One of the important issues here is to remind ourselves that we all come with a relationship history, and part of this has to do with our own family of origin, the kind of role models in our lives, and this can influence the way in which we communicate, how we express our caring and concern, also how we deal with conflict and try to resolve them. Children are often observing us as parents when we're relating to each other. It's important to remember that where parents have agreement over really basic issues such as what to expect of kids of different ages, basic rules relating to things like screen time and bedtime and how you handle discipline issues, the more we're on the same page, the more children will experience their world as consistent and predictable. And of course, when parents are feeling supported by their partner for their parenting role and you're on the same page, you're not only feeling more emotionally supported, but there's less friction. And people can handle stress a lot better. When parents get irritated with each other, argue a lot, contradict each other in front of children, children can get confused. They may think they're causing the upset and can worry that their family may break up. Today we're really looking at the issue of the importance of the way in which parents communicate with each other as partners. Kim, you've worked with couples and parents for many years on promoting healthy, positive relationships. How important do you think it is right now for couples to be taking care of their relationship with their partners?
I think it's particularly important now, Matt, because it's always a struggle for people when they've got competing demands of work, looking after kids, they may have aging parents, their own health issues, all sorts of things can get in the way, and it's easy to let the attention to the couple relationship go. And then when you have something like COVID-19 come along and all your regular routines go out and a lot of other people are under stress, sometimes the last thing in the queue is your relationship with your partner, and it's important to give that quality time.
I feel guilty when we are snapping at each other and complaining when I know there are people way worse off than us.
I think we've really got to think about our partners too. Things are getting a bit tense in my house. There's no couple time. It just seems we're working all the time.
So just reflecting about all the mums and dads out there who are doing it pretty tough, it's a pretty stressful time for them right now. What would your main tips be for parents about how to take care of their relationship at the moment?
Well, one of the things that I think is really critical is to make sure there's some quality fun time for you as a couple. And that can be pretty hard to structure, particularly when you're during the lockdown, but even as things ease up, still the range of things that people might usually do have been cut down. So being a little creative. I've had couples who've been talking to me and they've said, we usually go out for a meal once a week and my parents look after the kids or something, but we can't do that. But you can, if you're creative, still create those opportunities to have a little bit of one-on-one time with your partner. So after dinner, a special drink together, cup of tea, glass of wine, some chocolate, whatever your particular thing is, but sit down and actually have a bit of a chat, play some cards together, talk about a movie that you recently saw together, whatever it is that's meaningful for you as a couple. But it's important that you do that so that you switch off the TV, put the phone away, no other devices, and just give you and your partner some undivided attention to do something fun. Could be a walk down to the local park. And it's important also to make sure that you and your partner both have some individual time, getting that balance of time you have to be an individual, pursuing things that are of your own interest, time you have as a couple, and then time you have as a family can be much tougher to balance when you're in something like COVID. So you've got to work at that a bit more. So some me time, some we time, and some family time, and getting a balance of that you both feel happy with. I think a second thing is, because you're together so much, sometimes you can get on each other's nerves, and managing disagreements is an important thing. The last thing you want is starting to get irritable and snappy with each other, particularly when the kids are around, because that'll upset them and make the whole household tense. So if there's some issues that are starting to concern you, then there's a couple of tips I've got about how to manage that well. One is right time and place. Don't argue in front of the kids. Don't try and talk about things when your favourite TV program's on. Don't do it after you've had a few drinks, but rather sit down at a quiet time where there's not interruptions. Again, switch off the telly, put away the phone, no devices, and just focus on each other. And when you have got the right time and place to talk, start slowly, a gentle start up. Don't start with you do this or you do that, but rather, look, it's a tough time for both of us. And one of the things that's been worrying me is I feel like a lot of the extra care for the kids is falling on me. Can we talk about that? So gentle start up, the right time and place. And I think another thing that's related to this is about having some quality time where you talk to each other just about how things are going and planning forward. So I got 3 tips there really. One is quality time, which includes a balance of time for you as an individual, time for the couple, and time for the whole family. Managing disagreement by being in the right place at the right time and starting slowly, and regular catch-ups just to reflect on how you're going and plan what you want to happen over the next few days.
I think I've withdrawn a fair bit of late. In fact, I know I have. I tend to go into my shell a bit when things are a bit stressful. I don't really like talking things through, certainly nothing like my wife.
The issue that some couples are dealing with is where one partner's really anxious and worried. What can the other partner do to assist in that situation?
Well, I think the first step is to try and understand what the source of anxiety is for the partner. So it's very important to sit down and talk about what is it that worries you about our daughter going back to preschool? What is it that worries you about high school? Or what is it that's worrying you about the way that we're doing the shopping? Or whatever the particular anxieties might be. And then once you've understood your partner, then to start to get into the problem solving. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they tend to try and solve the problem too fast or dismiss the concerns of their partner. Look, it's all safe now. There's not many COVID cases around. Don't worry about it. For someone who's really concerned, that doesn't address the problem. You need to listen, and maybe they've really got some concerns that you do both want to pay more attention to. You won't know that unless you really listen, make sure you understand each other, and then start talking about some solutions.
Yeah, it's been hard to just have time as a couple over the last few months. Somehow that's fallen by the wayside in all of this?
I know I've probably been a bit short-tempered lately, and my wife usually cops most of it.
Kim, just reflecting on what we've been talking about, any final last word of advice for parents?
You're not going to get it right all the time. Don't be harsh on yourself. If you do get a bit tense with your partner, you get a bit grumpy. I think most of us have had that experience. We've been thrown into a situation we don't really like. Just reflect on it. What did I do that didn't help? What did I do? What was I trying to do that was helpful? And then what can I do to fix it from here? We don't have to be perfect. We just have to give it our best shot.
Being able to talk calmly and openly together is really the first step in working together as a parenting team, and also being happy in your relationship. When times are really tough, rather than taking out your stresses on each other, it's a time where it's even more important than ever to be kind to each other and to give the caring words and actions that came much more easily earlier in your relationship. Your relationship should be a priority too. Look after your needs for intimacy and couple time, and let your partner know you love and appreciate them. If you're really unhappy in your relationship, talk with your partner how you're feeling, and then you can work out together how you want to solve the problem. You may decide to seek some professional support to do that and to improve your overall relationship happiness.
That's all for this episode of Parenting in a Pandemic. Here are some tips for taking care of your relationship during these taxing times. Tip number 1, get that balance right between we time, me time, and family time. Tip number 2, talk about your day and share your concerns so you can tackle them together. Be supportive rather than critical or judgmental. Remember, you're a team. Tip number 3, keep difficult conversations to when you're away from the children and work together to calmly solve problems. And tip number 4, no one gets it right all the time. If you lose your cool, reflect and think about how you might like to do things differently next time. Thanks for listening to Parenting in a Pandemic. If you're enjoying this podcast, make sure you like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to leave a review. It'll help others to find this series. You can find free COVID-19 Parenting in a Pandemic resources in the episode show notes to help you on this journey.